All right, let's see. Maybe this will work. I tried to go live just to my Facebook page, and that was not happening. We'll see. I'm going to give it a second and see if you can hear me or see me. I've gotten so far removed from coming live at my house, although maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I should be doing that more often. Anyway, today we had guests on the show, and I'm so glad that they were able to be there. We had two moms who have unfortunately lost children to fentanyl or synthetic drugs. Very, very sad situation. But at the Lindsay Beckham show, we definitely wanted to promote this big event coming up this Saturday, July the 11th, from 10 to 2, Liberty Park in Madison. The Fentanyl Walk for Lives event. It's a national event, but this one in Madison is going to be it's going to be a great event. There's going to be live music and food trucks and snow cones and inflatables for kids and all the things that bring your families out, learn more about the fentanyl crisis, our children who are dying and being hurt from this. But this was scheduled far in advance, and I haven't gotten a chance to really throw out my opinions about all the information we've gotten in the last 24 hours concerning Nolan Wells, Ocean Springs, Horn Island, the death of this young, I would still call him a boy. I guess you could say he was an adult, but in my opinion, he was still a young boy. And first and foremost, let me just apologize to anyone who read me wrong yesterday. The title of my show was Friends or Murderers. And the reason was because when I opened up my social media, all I saw, post after post after post after post after post, was someone blaming these friends and saying they're not friends. Like, why would you leave your friend? If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the death of Nolan Wells, this young man, Horn Island, over the 4th of July holiday weekend. His body was found, what is today? His body was found Monday morning, and it's just been nonstop ever since. I don't want to seem insensitive or that I'm not compassionate. And this is why I don't do lives from my house. Yes? Okay, mommy's barking. Thank you. I don't want to seem insensitive. I don't want to seem like I don't care by any means. I can't imagine. That is my biggest fear in life, is losing a child. And it doesn't matter if he was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. A baby is your baby always. And so my heart bleeds for this family. First and foremost, what a tragedy, a very tragic situation. And I don't want to sound like I'm dismissing that whatsoever, because I'm not. I see the pain. You can't be a mom and see another mom lose a child and not feel heartbroken. But at the same time, as I open up my social media and I see post after post after post talking about my state, where I live, my community, which I believe is a great place to raise a child. I believe we hold values here. I believe in Mississippi. I believe in our legislators. I believe in our laws. I believe in the great things that we're doing here across the state of Mississippi. I know so many good people who live right here. And so when I open up my social media, or when I look at my feed, and all I see is the hate for my state, for my community, for any person who might be white. And I'm seeing a lot of that right now. It makes me angry. It makes me angry that we cannot allow this family to mourn the death of this child without wanting to throw in a race card, without wanting to race bait, without wanting to get people fired up and ready to fight with each other, without wanting to cause more division, not only within our state, but across the entire country. This is national news at this point. We have TMZ reporting on this. We have Whoopi Goldberg, and don't get me started on her, making the comment this morning that our hearts go out to the family of Nolan Wells, who died after vanishing during a boat trip with friends on the 4th of July. Right now, it's an active police investigation that we are watching very closely. And let me reiterate the way that she did it, that we are watching very closely. Very closely. Whoopi, what do you mean by that? Nobody has to ask. We already know. We already know. There's been no autopsy released. There has been no determination in cause of death. Yet we have this trial by public opinion. And because the boy that died was black and he was with his white friends on a boat in Mississippi, automatically that makes it murder. Automatically he died because of racism. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with this narrative that is being spun across this country. Now, Ben Crump, goodness, if we haven't seen his face enough, he's been retained by the family. And I can't blame the family for wanting answers. Obviously, any parents who lose a child are going to want answers. They want justice. If there was any sort of foul play involved, nobody would blame them for that. But this attorney has a certain reputation. We know this. We know this. So he has been retained. Yesterday, he said this: "We've been retained by the family of Nolan Wells, a beloved son, teammate, and friend who went out to celebrate the 4th of July and never came home. The wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College was preparing to return for the upcoming football season and would have turned 19 next month. His family deserves answers. They deserve the truth. We will not rest until every fact about what happened to Nolan on Horn Island is brought into the light, and we call on investigators to pursue this case with the urgency and transparency this family deserves." So, Mr. Crump, the autopsy hasn't even been completed yet. So, what exactly do you think law enforcement is not being transparent about? I would love to know. Because as far as I can see, we're getting nothing but transparency. So I don't quite understand your statements here. Now, one of the boys who was out on the boat on the 4th of July with Nolan Wells was the son of Chancery Court Judge Ashley Cole. Now, she released a statement earlier today that said this: "Our family, along with the community, grieves the loss of Nolan Wells. Our thoughts and prayers are with Nolan's family. Our son, Warren, loved Nolan dearly. Unfortunately, I feel that it is appropriate for our family to dispel some rumors with facts based upon the social media attention that is being diverted away from the Wells family and their loss. Yes, I deactivated my Facebook. Given the very heightened emotional state of social media right now, I fear for the safety of my child and my children. My husband and I have 6 children, and we covet their privacy. We do not believe it is appropriate for our minor children's photographs to be circulated throughout the internet, presenting potential threats to their safety. She goes on to talk about how she graduated with Nolan's mom. They're from the same community. She has the utmost respect for her and the entire family, and they are all mourning the loss of Nolan, praying for them, and will continue to do so. She said, "No one in my family is trying in any way to impede with the investigation by law enforcement or to otherwise hamper the family and law enforcement's quest for answers." She said that her son Warren was interviewed by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department and fully cooperated. She said that her son Warren saw Nolan last around 3 p.m. on the 4th of July. She said they left around 4:30 p.m. when the boat was taking on water. They had an issue with the pump. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. She said, "Yes, I am a judge. I also value transparency. I apologize if anyone was offended that I deleted my social media. There were no nefarious motivations in my deleting social media. Social media has a lot of positives, but a whole lot of negatives. We live in a world of clickbaiting, sad but true. My family is hopeful that this information will help to redirect the attention to the Wells family, their grief, and their need for our community's support." Very well said. Now, I have no idea how Nolan Wells died, but neither do any of you. Neither do any of the people who are putting these other boys' lives in danger. Their siblings, their families, their parents. The accusations and speculation is dangerous, incredibly dangerous. From all accounts, it looks like these boys were great friends. So I can't imagine being judged in a court of public opinion, not only by your hometown, not only by your home state, but the entire country now is on board. Now, would we see this much attention if all 4 of the boys were white, or if all 4 of the boys were black? I don't think so. I don't think so. I know a family who lost a son Memorial Day, who was out with friends, some sort of creek or river. I don't know exactly where they were, but in the water, tragic accident. And I did not see this type of attention there. I sat with 2 moms in the studio today who lost sons, one at 18, one at 22. Although different circumstances, there wasn't this type of attention surrounding the deaths of those boys. There has been a GoFundMe set up that is now well over $250,000. They continue to increase the amount, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all. I'm not. I don't want to sound like I'm persecuting this family. I'm not. What I'm saying is, can we not support the family and grieve with them without turning our backs on these other kids who at this point are guilty of nothing but going out on a boat on the 4th of July to celebrate Independence Day with their friends. The way so many of us have done. And I don't know about you, but I've seen so many people posting about how you have to be your brother's keeper. You can't leave. I can't tell you how many times I went out with friends and decided wasn't ready to go home yet when I was a teenager or when I was in college or when I was a young adult, and would end up getting a ride home with someone else that was there that I knew. Or vice versa. How many times did I leave people that came with me because they had somebody else they were with that they were going to get a ride home from? That does not make you a bad person. Does not make you a bad person whatsoever. And I can't understand the negative statements that I see when it comes to that. And I'm a female, and I think about, we look out for each other. I would think even more so than males do. I don't understand what the big deal is that he was with another friend that he was going to get a ride home with. That nobody did any. That doesn't mean anybody did anything wrong here whatsoever. Now, the Jackson County Sheriff's Department did release a statement yesterday that said this. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office continues to actively investigate the circumstances surrounding the death of Nolan Wells, who was last seen alive on Horn Island July 4th, 2026. We recognize that a significant amount of information, speculation, and commentary has been shared on social media and throughout the community. As with any active investigation, our investigators are working to establish the facts through eyewitness accounts, physical evidence, and other reliable information. We are asking anyone who was on or near Horn Island to contact the Jackson County Sheriff's Office if you have one of the following: any interactions, sightings of, or statements regarding Nolan Wells, original unedited photos and videos taken on the northwest tip of Horn Island, particularly those depicting alleged altercations or containing images of or believed to include Nolan Wells. The original media often contains critical details that may be essential to the ongoing investigation. Observed or heard an argument, disturbance, or other unusual activity while on the island that day. Even information that may seem insignificant could prove valuable to investigators. We encourage anyone with firsthand knowledge to come forward. This remains an active and ongoing investigation. We appreciate the community's continued cooperation. We ask for everyone to refrain from spreading unverified information that could hinder investigation efforts. Our thoughts and prayers and condolences remain with Nolan Wells' family during this difficult time. And then it gives numbers to contact if you have any of that information. Now, TMZ yesterday reported that there was a fight, an altercation that Nolan was involved in shortly before this 3:30, 4 p.m. timestamp. And I've seen the videos, and I've also seen witnesses who claim to have first-hand accounts disputing these videos and saying that Nolan was not the one involved in an altercation. Now, the videos I saw definitely don't show a fight. I'm confused as to how that conclusion came to be, because that's not at all what I saw. And then the shockingest turn of events here. Do Commissioner Shaun Tindell and I actually agree on something for once? And it looks like maybe we do, because Commissioner of Mississippi Department of Public Safety, Shaun Tindell, who is also in charge of the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office, asked the public to stop speculating on the Nolan Wells death as it might cause witnesses to not come forward. He also reiterated how dangerous the waters are around Horn Island, with the depth going from 3 feet to over 20 feet quite quickly. Now, I've seen several statements, even on verified news sources, saying that this is being treated as a drowning at the time. Of course, we still do not have the autopsy results. So I think everybody just needs to chill out. I think Whoopi needs to shut her big fat mouth, along with her liberal co-host, because we all know the agenda they push over there at The View. I did several shows last week on racism. I sat down and I had a conversation with a Black woman right across from me. She said some things that I deeply disagree with. I was hurt, in fact, at some of the things that some of the thoughts she has. I don't live in a community, I don't live in a world where I'm showered with white privilege on a daily basis, or at all for that matter. I don't live in a world where I walk hand in hand with the KKK or Klansmen. Now, I am sitting right next to them on a hate list thanks to the Southern Poverty Law Center. But we all know where they stand. Funding the KKK in order to drum up more division, more hate, more drama in our communities. Mississippi's not a bad place. Mississippi is not full of racist people, full of hate. One thing I said on the show yesterday is that it really bothers me when someone comments on a group of people and makes the statement, oh, they had to have a token Black person in there. That's racism, if you ask me. That's what's racist. To claim that I only have a Black person with me because I want to make sure they're the token Black person and people know that I'm not racist. That to me, in and of itself, is racist to say that. Lots of accusations being made with no facts. And now here's Ben Crump retained to add more fuel to the fire. Because it doesn't matter what the truth is to some people. It doesn't matter. But it matters to me, and it matters when you attempt to stain my state, my community. We gotta do better. God bless this family who is mourning the loss of Nolan Wells. Let's get the facts. Let's get the actual facts. Let's get the autopsy results. Let's get the information before we send out a witch hunt for these boys who are right now guilty of nothing more than celebrating America's birthday, the 4th of July, with the friend who just happened to be Black. I will, of course, keep you updated as much as I can. And I will be live tomorrow at lunch, just like always, on the Lindsay Beckham Show. Hope to see you then.